Hello, I'm Wilton from Elm.biz, and in our series Grammar Watch, we're going to look at the present simple and the present continuous. And to do this, I brought along Tom. So, welcome Tom.
Hello.
And I'll leave you in his capable hands.
Thank you, Wilton. Yes, hello. And as Wilton said, we're going to look at the difference today between the present continuous and the present simple tense. So, to begin with, the present continuous tense describes an action in the middle of happening. I am filing the invoices. I've started to file and I've not yet finished. I'm filing right now. The present simple tense, on the other hand, is used to describe a habitual action, something that happens regularly. I file the invoices on Wednesday afternoons, for example. The important thing is that it's my routine every Wednesday afternoon to file the invoices. Let's look at some more sentences. Peter is fixing the computer, present continuous. Peter is in the middle of fixing the computer. He is fixing it right now. Peter fixes the computer whenever somebody pours coffee into it, present simple. Somebody regularly pours coffee into the computer. Always when this happens, Peter fixes it. Peter is telling the boss who poured coffee into the computer in the present continuous. So Peter is talking to the boss right now and grassing up whichever idiot it was who poured coffee into the computer. When somebody pours coffee into the computer, the boss fires them, present simple. The boss's routine action is to fire anybody who pours coffee into the computer. Another way of thinking about it is that the present continuous expresses a temporary action that will at some point be replaced by a different action in the future. In the present simple, on the other hand, either the action is more permanent or it doesn't matter when it will be completed. For example, Jenny's writing a report in the present continuous. This means at some point in the future, Jenny will finish writing and start doing something else. But Jenny writes the reports in the present simple. In this case, writing the reports is Jenny's permanent job. Of course, in the future she might stop doing the job and retrain to become a lion tamer. Here, however, this possibility is not important. I'm living in Hamburg. This sentence implies that you plan to move away at some point in the future. But I live in Hamburg in the present simple. Here you sound more permanent. The sentence contains no suggestion that you'll move away. Let's look now quickly at state verbs. There are some verbs that cannot normally be written in the continuous, which we call state verbs. For example, that coat belongs to me, not that coat is belonging to me in the continuous. The coat cannot be in the middle of belonging, nor can the coat ever finish belonging and start doing something else. I might sell the coat to Wilton, of course, but then it will belong to him. The state is the same. Or, do you believe in Father Christmas? Not, are you believing in Father Christmas? The same is true here. Believing is an action that can never be replaced by another action. I cannot suddenly stop believing in Father Christmas and start doing the laundry instead. In fact, there are quite a few of these state verbs. Here's a list of some of them. Note that the McDonald's advertising slogan in English, I'm loving it, is actually an offence against the English tongue. There are one or two interesting exceptions from these rules. Firstly, let's look at the verb to be. Normally, of course, you cannot say, I am being a man. Being is a state. You cannot be in the middle of it. You cannot say, I am very busy being a man at the moment, but when I've finished, I'm going to post a letter. Nobody is in a fit state to post a letter after they have ceased to exist. You need to say, I am a man, present simple. But you can use to be in the present continuous if you mean behaving or acting. For example, He's being unusually chatty. You're being very difficult today. In this context, the behaviour is happening at the time of speaking and is seen as temporary. Secondly, the verb to think. If you are giving your opinion, you cannot say I am thinking either. For example, I am thinking it's a big problem is wrong. However, you can say I am thinking about the problem. Here you make it clear that you are thinking in a very specific context, so the action is a temporary one. Okay, now let's look quickly at the phrase always doing, because that's interesting as well. The phrase always doing something also contains a special nuance. If you say you always stay late at the office in the present simple, you are describing somebody's routine. Every day the person stays late at the office. This is simply a fact. You're not judging the person in any way. But if you say you're always staying late at the office, present continuous, you imply that you think the person stays later than is normal. Often you are annoyed by this. Here are some more examples. They always arrive late. So they arrive late every time. This is a fact. But they're always arriving late, present continuous, means they arrive late more often than the speaker thinks is reasonable. Or the sentence, I always wear other people's slippers. Again, this is a fact. You simply spend a lot of time wandering around in other people's slippers, and you don't see this as a problem. But I'm always wearing other people's slippers. Here you suggest that, in your own opinion, you should really stop stealing other people's slippers and buy some of your own. Okay, finally, let's look at the uses of the present tenses in the future sense in English. Just as in German, you can use the present tenses to express an idea in the future. For example, the sentence, the train leaves at 6 o'clock tomorrow. When we are talking about a future event that is going to happen according to a timetable, we use the present simple, as in the example above. It's frequently used in a travel context. For example, what time does Filippo arrive on Monday? He changes flights at Heathrow. It can also be used for other scheduled events. The army attacks at midnight. Isn't it your birthday on Monday? Sentences like that. In short, the present simple is used to speak about events in the future that are going to happen, but which we have not personally arranged. Now let's look at a sentence in the present continuous. I'm meeting Wizzo in London next week. To talk about future events that we have personally arranged, we use the present continuous. One or two more examples. We're meeting at the cinema later. Where is she going on holiday? I'm having an early night tonight. Okay, well, I hope that's given you a quick introduction to the differences between the present continuous and the present simple. Thanks for listening, and happy speaking.